Now, we did play it a little bit earlier. We had Kane Corns with Kingy on Fireball and Kane striking a couple across the bow.
Can I just be really clear? For anyone that is going to clip this, put it on social media, post it, whatever you're going to do, all like Goss and Simmo in Perth and those idiots over there.
Wow. Wow. David King, guilty by association. Good morning.
Come on, mate.
I can't control him. Good morning, boys. I can't stop him at the best of times.
He did give me his number. I haven't reached
what's
out
going on there?
yet.
Hey, Kingy, as you and I are neutral observers in this little stoush, they've got to break bread at some stage. How you look after your man, and I'll look after my man.
No, I'm going the other way. I'm saying Simmo hates you. I'm saying he doesn't even want to talk to you. I'm feeling the fire.
It's going to be interesting because we're doing a few shows together this year, Kane and I, and I'm going to have to express myself at some stage. So we'll see what goes.
Hey, Kingy, we had Mitch Cleary on talking about the Luke Jackson story, and we've had Jamie Graham from Fremantle talking about the Luke Jackson story. This is not going to go away, is it? This is a story that's going to bubble along for some time.
Well, if you want to get Pickett and you want to get Warner, then you got to concede something. You got to give something. So, I can understand the next level being who's available, who's possible for a trade sort of situation. So maybe they've gone 1 + 1 = 6, but you got to start somewhere. And I guess the discussion is it like for like, or who holds more power in that discussion? Would it be the Pickett side of things, or would it be the Jackson side of things? Mitch was different to me. He thinks that Jackson's of more value. I sort of think Pickett, coming into his absolute prime, is probably of more value.
That's interesting because, right, and looking at the game yesterday, Kingy, without Gawn, there's a fair void. So, I mean, to get Jackson for Melbourne is probably a stronger position than keeping Pickett. But, yeah, I'm not quite sure how it's going to play it. I feel like from a coaching point of view, it's a distraction that Freo don't need, and it's probably something that hasn't been discussed until yesterday. So, interesting to see what happens.
You don't like Ruckman, Simmo. You started the third up jumping because you didn't trust him.
Depends on the Ruckman, Kingy. And, I've had some good ones and had some ones that haven't been that good.
David, pre-season takeaway. I mean, how have you looked at the pre-season? I know you get along to as many clubs as possible. Are the Bulldogs in trouble early with the Bont going down? But he's not just the only one. They've probably lost, I think they're in their, did I read somewhere that their top 6 of their club champion, 5 of them won't be there for some time.
Yeah, no, they're in real trouble early. Just got to find a way to hang in. I mean, even the Kangaroos in round 1 looks like a gettable game for the Kangaroos. Whereas, a month ago you would have thought, no way, the Dogs are off to a flyer. They're probably the number 1 loser of the pre-season period, if you like. I think Sydney losing Errol Goulden, it's very hard to qualify. Those 3 mids of Warner, Heaney and Goulden last year were unbelievable. I think they kicked 45 goals between the 3 of them. So to lose a prime piece like that's a disaster. Carlton have had some injury. It's been a pre-season of how much impact have you suffered, and how are you going to hold together early. But aside from that, I don't think the game's changed a lot. I think the game's in really good health, and it's very attractive to watch. And I don't know if you can pick, a top 8 or a top 4 or anything with any real certainty at the moment, which is a great space to live in.
Who have you got as outstanding pre-season from the 2 games you've seen and the health? Who sits at the top at the moment in your eyes?
I've actually just left Champion Data, Simmo. We're just having a look at some of the Geelong stuff. But the Geelong profile and how they play and who they rely on and where those guys are in terms of, their age, demographic and everything. I think Geelong, I'm more working back towards Geelong than ever. I mean, Max Holmes no one considers him a top-tier player at the moment. He doesn't get the love that he deserves. But right now, he's probably their most important player, and he's probably a top 5 player or a top 10 player in our competition right now. And probably the Geelong model, their experience matches the way they play. Everything's in really good health and really good support. So I think Geelong would be a lock for top 4 of what I've seen.
Kane I'm sure has Supercoach Sam Mitchell, the guru, and Hawthorn being a serious contender. But there seems to be mixed messages from critics, and we can only call them critics or experts inside the game of where Hawthorn can go and clubs working them out. What's your version of what you're expecting from Hawthorn and Sam Mitchell this year?
Oh, I think they'll be brilliant. I really do. I think that those two key backs. I think Josh Battle coming in. He's a super centre halfback style counterpunch intercept marker. Battle just gives him a bit of stability. So too does Barras behind the ball. The key forwards these days, they're big boppers. They're north of 200 centimetres. So you need someone who can cover that sort of player, and they just haven't had that. Now they've got two players to work with. Their small ball forward of centre is so dynamic, and they did most of this last year without Will Day. And he's a player that sort of could be a Brownlow medal level player in the seasons to come. Not sure if it's this year, but certainly in the seasons to come, they'll be more than fine. They'll win their 13, 14 plus games, I think, pretty easily, and they'll be there when the whips are cracking.
Well, the other piece is they're healthy. It looks like from a pre-season, the stories you see from most clubs is there's some significant injuries around. I haven't heard anything from Hawthorn, so I think their list looks young and healthy. But they've got Sydney round one. Kingy, what's your take on this game?
Yeah, 50-50 game now. I think with Gordon coming out, it might be the first game of the year. Who knows? With the Thursday night trauma, with the weather up there. But new coach in Sydney, new systems, the fullback's now the full forward. You lose Gordon. I think they're gettable, Sydney. Hawthorn play that manic speed game. Sydney like the controlled, slow game. If they can put some chaos into it, I think their small forwards can run right. And I'm a believer in the Hawks, and I've probably got the slows on the Swans a little bit, so I need to be proven correct or incorrect in the next couple of weeks.
A couple of listeners have texted in. I want to know your thoughts on the Hayden Young situation. Bit of an injury setback. No Alex Pearce so far in the pre-season as well. Do you have concerns about Fremantle?
No, I think Fremantle have got the best list in the comp. It's just a matter of getting the pieces in the right places and finding a system that constantly threatens the opposition. And when you talk about constantly threatening, you're looking at Brisbane and the way they play, the way they move the ball. It's different to the way that Geelong do it. It's different to the way the Giants have done it. So what is Justin Longmuir going to do with this speed of ball movement or corridor play or adventurous play out of the back line? It's all well and good to say they handball and they do this and they do that, and here are the stats, but we need to see it because it hasn't really been there across the last 4 or 5 years, really. So can you make the transition, which Geelong did? If you look at Geelong in 21, they were a slow model. Then in 22, they went to that fast play and that chaotic ball, and they've stayed there. Fremantle haven't made that jump yet, and until they make that jump, I think they won't threaten as regularly as they should. And therefore they won't be the top 14, which I think their talent already is.
Hey, King, I know you're very busy and you were walking dogs and all sorts of things over the weekend. Just to give me your 15-second overview of Adam Simpson's debut performance for Fox Footy yesterday.
Day one.
I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah,
I thought he could lift the volume a little bit. I had to find the volume a couple of times to turn him up. I thought he's nodded off.
I'll get the megaphone out next time.
I'm telling you, do what the rest of them do. Just megaphone it. He'll be a star in the media. Simmo, when he gets comfortable and starts hanging shit on all of us, he'll just be terrific.
Hey, good stuff this morning. Love the show. Love Fireball Friday as well, mate. Look forward to hearing and seeing more of you on Fox Footy. Good on you, mate. Thanks for taking our call.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, boys. Have a good day.
He's a beauty. There he is, David King. Morning, boys. Is the Jackson to Melbourne talk more about Melbourne acknowledging that Cozzy is gone and they won't be able to get the ridiculous three first rounders that Brad Green threw out at the weekend? Now they are looking at players that may be able to get over the line. Paul from Wellard. Yeah, that's the story, and that's going to keep buzzing along until Luke Jackson or someone comes out and says it ain't happening. We'll take a break and come back. Simmo's doing his tips for opening round. That's on the way. This is Simmo and Goss.